What's up everyone, this is George from Your Local Musician, and today what I'm going to do is a slightly different style of video than what you're used to. I'm going to try making a drum kit out of my car. Now I want you to get majorly excited because my car is probably the sexiest car that you've ever come across. It's a Fiat Panda. No, 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 no! Now before I get into this, I just want to say the only bit of equipment that I'm actually using to record these samples is of course my trusted Zoom H4n Pro. Now the first and probably most obvious choice is obviously a kick. So we're going to try recording something. Now my neighbour's outside and I don't really want him to watch me while I do this. It's a little bit strange. So I'm going to try recording some sounds in the car first. Now the first idea that I had is obviously pretty kind of obvious, I think. So if we're in the car, if you hit the steering wheel, it's got kind of a thumpy-ish sound. So we're just going to place obviously the recorder on the dash right there. You're going to arm it to record. Now obviously this is going to be a little bit awkward because I've got to try filming and actually doing it at the same time, but we're just going to hit it. I think you can get a pretty good sounding snare out of the what's that called? The vents.
Duh.
Right, okay, so let's arm the field recorder. Recording. So we're just going to slap this down. Now probably a good idea for some hi-hats might be the indicators. Notice in this country we do not call these blinkers. Yes, they blink, but they have a name. Now my neighbour's gone now, so let's try slamming the door. Seriously man, anyone sees me doing this I'm going to look like a right fool. Just thought the actual door handle would probably make a pretty decent snarey sound, so let's try that. That is not how I wanted it to go. Loads of cars going by. Let's try hitting the bonnet. Arm the recorder. Let's try hitting the bonnet. Completely, nearly forgot snapping the wipers. So let's try that. Let's go. Loads of wind. Right, okay, cool. I'm back in the car and I can't believe I almost forgot. It seems like I'm forgetting absolutely everything today.
Because you're an idiot.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Back in the car, I thought I'd do the seatbelt, the seatbelt going into the locker thing. Might be cool. Let's try it. Okay, so I've put the recorder just like on the edge of the seat, trying to get it as close as it possibly can be. And I'm just going to set the camera down and we're going to record. You can't see me right now because there is a visor in the way, and we are going to just put it back up again and record it because that's what we're doing. Got to do the glove box as well. So, Mr. Recorder, let's put you on the edge of the seat. Let's arm you. Let's record you. Let's open. Let's do the temperature thing as well. Okay, you're not supposed to do this, but I'm going to try doing the horn. So I've put the recorder on the dash again, and we're going to do the horn. So what you just saw was day one of recording samples. Now I'm going to do it again. I've edited a few of them last night. I'm going to show you some of that process later. But we are going to record more sounds out of this lovely automobile. I'm back in the car. It's hot, but I'm gonna beat the crap out of this seat. The head will also make a good kick. Let's do this. Oh, I'm still recording. Shit. This is gonna sound sick. Now, this is technically not a part of the car, but the CDs do live in the car, so fuck it, I'm recording them too. And let's open it up. And it is actually Dr. Dre's Compton album with Ed Sheeran's Plus album inside. Lay it down here and just... Now this is called a broken visor, but I'm going to hit some shit outside with it. I think, last but not least, on the agenda for the kit, I can't really think of anything else to do, but other than open and close the boot. Let's do that. I think that's all the recording done, so we're going to go inside and I'm going to show you how I've already been editing some of these samples and how I'm going to edit some of these ones that I've just this second recorded. Loads of people were staring at me. Okay, we're back inside. I've taken all those samples and I've loaded them into Logic. I've primarily used Logic's new quick sampler, which I absolutely love right now. I've definitely got to do a tutorial on that soon. So basically, yeah, I'm just going to talk you through what I've done. I have tracked out most of the kit already. I've been working on it for a couple of hours and it's been really fun actually. So I'm just going to go through each sound one by one and explain a little bit about what I've done, why I've done it, why I've done what I've done, and how hopefully you can do it too. And this is all going to be for a new kit that's going to come out called the Panda kit, because as you'll notice, my car is a lovely, sexy yellow Fiat Panda, and it will be up on the site by the time you see this. Obviously, wherever you're watching this from, look out because there'll be a link for it somewhere. So the first sample that we're obviously going to talk about is this sample that I have for a kick. Now I'm not sure how loud that's going to be for you guys, but I can hear it nice, loud and clearly. And this is basically a recording of me, as you see in the previous clip, of me whacking the steering wheel. And so what have I done here to give this sound a little bit of extra sauce and make it sound a little bit more interesting? Now the thump on the steering wheel out of the box I think actually sounded pretty good as it was. It really kind of only needed some extra dynamics, some extra drive, a little bit of compression here and there, just some sort of gain staging maybe, just to give it a little bit more of an extra thump, but obviously I did do more than that. So this is obviously the sound on its own. And as you can see in the actual sampler here, all I've pretty much done to it is applied some filter. Obviously I've cut down the sample and got it to where it needs to be. I've applied a low pass filter. Now in obviously Quick Sampler here, like this is one of the things that I love about Quick Sampler so much, is obviously these amazing filters that you actually get built in. They work for so much stuff. So I've cut off a little bit of that filter, gave it some drive, edited the key scale a little bit, and obviously just nudged up the envelope depth on the pitch. And that was pretty much it for the for what I did to the actual, for what I did inside of the sampler itself. But as you can see here, we've got all these different plugins in, which are all there for their own sort of reason themselves. And this is how it sounds now that I've applied some extra source to it and obviously used some of my plugins. Hell of a lot more thumpy. Hell of a lot more thumpy, nice, and sort of adds a nice sort of ring of distortion in my eyes. And obviously we don't need the tuner, we don't need to talk about that. But obviously some of the plugins that I added to get it sounding the way that it does sound is obviously the Attack knob plugin from AbleTunes. Now the reason is obviously behind doing this is quite obvious. It's just to give it a little bit more attack, so it sounds a little bit more punchy. Some spread, just the normal Logic stock plugin stereo spread, and it's just to obviously give it a little bit more thickness, and it definitely did that to it. I'll tell you. Obviously some compression from the Firefly compression. I believe this is by Sound Toys or something like that. And as you can see, I've gone absolutely mental with the makeup gain here. And just I don't like to stick too many of the compression rules and using too much gain and things like that. I believe in just doing whatever it is that gives the sound what it needs. I don't care about any kind of mixing rules, so you can destroy me for that. Obviously going from there, some nice bit of EQ, and this is where a lot of the magic happens, I believe. Is this Wave Shaper plugin from Cable Guys. Now I've used this, as you'll see as we sort of talk through the next 4 or 5 sounds, just to give you sort of an overview. I'll leave you hanging for what the kit sounds like fully. I will make a beat at the end of this, but I definitely want you to go and check out this entire kit because I'm actually really sort of proud of it. So the Wave Shaper, obviously what the Wave Shaper sort of does kind of really gives it away in the name. It alters sort of the waveform of the actual sound itself. You can really distort it, or you can obviously pull back on a lot of the what's in there already, just to make it sound a little bit more soft and tight. But obviously I want this kick to sound nice and thumpy, so we really sort of rid it up. Let's see what I'm actually interested to see what it sounds like without the Wave Shaper. So still good. One of the things that I love about sound design is that you can flip the same sample in multiple different ways and do it so easily. Like, say for instance, just look at the difference of this sound with and without the Wave Shaper. So with, we take that off, almost sounds like a different kick, and it sounds nice. So moving on to this first hi-hat that we've got here. Obviously I've turned all of the plugins off so we can really hear what the original sound sounded like, and I believe this is actually quite quiet, so I will try my best to play it for you. So it almost sounds like white noise, and it pretty much is white noise, but basically what that sound actually is the indicator on my car. And obviously to get I had to turn the engine on as well, so there's a little bit of a buzz in the background of this hi-hat as well. So basically to get rid of that buzz initially, obviously I used some audio restoration plugins from iZotope, so RXD Hum, and with a combination of Decrackle. Let's just play that without. I'm not sure it's going to make any difference because obviously it's all these the compression, the expand, and the channel EQ that really gives it its sound. You can hear it slightly, and obviously we've got so much going on here. If you ever use these audio restoration plugins, never leave them on your channel strip. If you've got some audio to fix, make sure you then bounce in place that audio, because your system, I've got an 8 gig RAM Mac, and it can't handle it. So once you've fixed it, bounce it in place and just use the audio if you can. Otherwise you'll get those system overload notifications. But to add in the other plugins that we used, and I've just muted it. So after some nice work, after a lot of work, that's what the hi-hat sounds like. And yeah, we're really putting this computer in to work right now. And we can't play that too much, otherwise we're going to kill the PC. And just a lot of aggressive EQing in this. Obviously the expander, just to give it a bit more width as well. And that was pretty much it. It was a really good sample as it was, but as you can see from using those isotope audio restoration plugins, we completely got rid of that hum. So it really surprises me what you can actually do with some really sort of simple tools. A couple of years back, I never would have thought that you'd be able to do something like that. So moving on, let's definitely make sure we turn off those bloody restoration plugins, otherwise it's not going to sound nice. So what is the original sample for this? Yeah. So as you can tell just from the sample here, it looks like a snare to me. Obviously you don't get waveforms like that, and they're usually not snares. Like, it's got the perfect sort of towel on it and everything. So once again, I don't actually believe we actually did too much to the sound here, but yeah, let me just turn those. Let me just turn those sounds off. So basically what this sound is you would have seen from the previous clip. Again, this sound was actually me snapping the door handle of the car, and I've turned it into this nice snare rim shot kind of sort of sound. Once again with the wave shaper to do the obvious things. Added some filtering, of course, some more filtering on top. This is the fat filter from SoundSpot, and got it on high pass, got it all sort of centralized and things like that, and it gives a nice little sound to it. Distortion, this is actually a free plugin from Audio Damage, Fuzz Plus 3. I've used this for years now, and I can't really see myself using too much else. It's always done the job, and it's definitely an amazing bit of distortion. But when you get the distortion right, especially when you're trying to design snares, especially if you're like me and you like your snares to have some kind of snap, it's amazing how much you can do with literally just a distortion plugin. So listen to that. So the best way to obviously demonstrate it with and without the distortion, to see fully what the distortion actually does. This is very quiet, very drabby. There's not much sort of dynamics to it right now. Let's enable that distortion, and it obviously takes it to a whole new sort of level. So piling on top of the Fuzz Plus 3, we have. Oh no, that's not meant to be there. I wasn't using that for anything. So yeah, on top of that, so the last and final plugin on this snare is obviously Space Designer, which is Logic's own, one of Logic's own Logic's own reverbs. It is just a out-the-box sort of setting. I don't remember me actually really touching too much. And that's how we got that snare sound. So moving on to this one. So this is obviously probably one of the most interesting sounds, because this is actually, this is actually my car horn. So from where it's at right now, this has been heavily kind of edited. Let me see if I can get. It's been so much done to this. It's impossible to try and get that sound back without screwing something up and me not remembering what I did and accidentally saving it or something like that. So this was originally the car horn, and I've kind of turned it into this leady sort of sound. I've included a few variations of this sound in the sample pack itself. One is just sort of a tonal sound, which you'll find in the SFX folder. And if you basically come along and dump that into a sampler, any sampler will do, you can turn it into its own little lead sound. So that's it on its own. So it's kind of not really that impressive right now, is it? But building and putting some effects on top of it really sort of transforms the sound overall. So just in the sampler, obviously I have a high pass filter with some of the high ends sort of cut off, or the lows, driven that drive up to really bring the sort of sound out. I've pitched it down 2 semitones, up 2 cents on the fine tune, and a tiny little bit of glide, obviously, as well as some envelope depth, and played with the key scale a little bit as well. But what really sort of gives this sound its flavour is our beloved RC20 as well. That gives it some nice analogy sort of feel. RC20 alone is responsible for this sound having the character that it has alone, so don't slate me. Use primarily all of the controls on obviously RC20, the wobble, the distortion, the digital sort of emulation, the space, which is obviously the reverb, and obviously the magnetic, and it is really the driver for this sound being what it is. And obviously just stacked on top of that, one of Logic's sort of multi-effects units, the Fat FX, and used a little bit more of the distortion on there, some of the bass enhancer, some extra compression, just to go crazy and break all the rules. And obviously on top of that, we can't forget a little bit of EQ was actually needed for it, and it come out sounding like this. The system keeps overloading. And for the breakdown of some of the sounds, I believe we'll leave it at that, guys. We've been going for about 20 minutes on just talking over those 4 different sounds. There are about 50 to 60 different sounds. So if I broke down all of them, you'd be here for an hour or 2, or even longer than that. And I'm just going to get into making a beat. So guys, that was the making of the Panda kit. The kit is out now, and if you would like to support, I will leave a link down in the description so you can obviously go ahead and purchase that kit. And if you'd like to see more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like the video, and obviously leave a comment as well. I really appreciate your time. I know this has been a long one, but it's been a really good project to work on, and I hope you can obviously go ahead and pick up the kit and tell me what you think about it. So guys, until next time, see you soon.